about true financial freedom, which includes capital growth, positive cash flow, knowledge, being knowledgeable about your investment, having control, making decisions, being engaged, and that's having control and being engaged, and having fulfillment for the help that your money is providing.
Welcome to the How to Scale Commercial Real Estate Show. Whether you are an active or passive investor, we'll teach you how to scale your real estate investing business into something big.
Ivan Anz is an entrepreneur, a philanthroinvestor, and an author. And we also have Skye Logan on the call with us here today, who is the CEO of PhilanthroInvestor. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hello, Sam.
Thank you very much for having us in your show. It's an honor.
Absolutely. Yeah. The pleasure and honor is mine to have both of you on today. There are 3 questions I ask every guest who comes on the show, and maybe you can field this one for us. Ivan, where did you start? Where are you now? And how did you get there? And the only caveat is you have to answer it in 90 seconds or less.
What? Okay, give me the questions again.
Where did you start? Where are you now? And how did you get there?
Okay, I started in Argentina, creating the dream of connecting investors with humanitarian causes. We are right now in the position where we have philanthroinvestors in 16 countries of the world. We have more than $100 million in philanthro investments in multiple companies. And we arrived here by educating and raising the awareness of the world in relation to why it's so important to not only do money for money plays, but money with mission. Money that is also helping the world shift into a positive direction while it's growing your capital.
I love that. That's certainly a valuable mission and one that we need more of. How have you found an effective way to implement that strategy? I mean, that's a great big goal, but then what does that mean practically?
In 90 seconds or in 30 seconds?
As long as you like.
Okay. So no, how we made it practical is that I had a realization of something that I trademarked, which is called the life essentials. And the life essentials are areas of life that will be the farthest away from speculation that you can think of. So how you get someone very off speculative investments to make sure that they just don't put money in something and disappears, or put something in and that it's worth 68,000 and then it goes to 17,000 in a few months. So how you actually get the farthest away from speculation is to make sure that the money is going to life essentials. And what I mean by life essentials, I mean the areas of this world that it doesn't matter if it is an earthquake, doesn't matter if it is a pandemic, doesn't matter what happened, that life essentials will always be there and needed and wanted by the humans that are in this planet. So let me tell you a few examples. Like, what is the number one life essential? If I ask you, Sam, what is the number one thing that we need in this planet? The number one that we'll always need?
Well, shelter, but also before that, food and water.
And before that?
Air.
Yes, you got it. So that's the number one life essential. What is the number 2?
Food and water.
Water, number 2. Food, number 3. Number 4 is shelter. And we can continue like that. And there is 10 life essentials in the world. And so the strategy is finding innovative companies with very heart-driven, mission-driven, purpose-driven, with high level of integrity founders and management teams that have already the basics, the foundation of that company, and need an injection of capital, public relations, marketing, some advice to tweak the future, and then onboarding them to our platform, which is the PhilanthroInvestors international platform, that will broadcast them to our philanthro investors in the world and people that is looking, hey, I have this money. What do? I just throw it in the stock market and I just do money for money. I just put it into crypto and I just do money on money. I just speculate with this. I just go and gamble, like 500 billion a year happen right now in the gambling industry, which is $500 billion, and just hope that something good will happen. Or I connect myself back to my essence. What I mean by my essence, connecting you again with connecting myself again with my native state, with my essence, which is the life essentials, which is the reason why I am in this planet, is to improve the life essentials for everybody else in the world. And each of us has a purpose in one of the life essentials more than another one. So in that case, we interview the PhilanthroInvestor to see what area of the world you feel that it will make you so happy that you are so well connected and that you are shifted into a more positive direction. And they say, oh my gosh, I love to eradicate illiteracy in the planet. Well, you can become an education PhilanthroInvestor. Oh my gosh, I would love to bring the air in the world to the condition that it was before the humanity came to Earth. Well, you can become an air PhilanthroInvestor. Oh, well, I really suffer when I see people that are tenants for life and they are changing from home to home to home to home to home, and their kids are losing stability and they are not developing the friendships in the same neighborhoods because a landlord decided to sell the property. I really love to establish a family unit and give shelter and develop housing. Great, you can become a housing PhilanthroInvestor. And that's with the 10 life essentials. We now have 4 already developed and are expanding more and more and more to make it to the 10.
Ivan, I think that's absolutely fantastic. I love the mission. I love purposeful mission. I love, missional. I call it missional capitalism. I think you call it PhilanthroInvestor. But how do you meaningfully find a way to allocate capital to the places where it's needed most, and it produces yet a yield for your investors? I mean, I think that you're trying to meet all those at once. How do you effectively do that without potentially misallocating large sums of capital?
Well, basically, it's all laid out in the model that is behind. It's all laid out in doing a very good due diligence and having a very good checklist of which company and which entrepreneur we are onboarding into our platform. I think that's our key success. And for example, on the housing PhilanthroInvesting, that I will invite Skye to share a little bit more with you of that model and how it works and so on. It is basically a direct investment into real estate that is supporting families to become homeowners. So basically, it's like Skye will share you more, but as you know, the blockchain is the decentralization of finances, and that technology works, And as you know, that Tesla is decentralizing energy. So basically, Equity and Help, which is the company that is an Inc. 500 3 years in a row, and number one fastest real estate company in Florida, number 5 in the entire country. Equity and Help was founded in 2014, and it's the decentralization of the mortgage industry. So it allows any housing PhilanthroInvestor to become a bank, but a philanthropic bank, and make double-digit returns while doing philanthropy with families, which Skye will explain how and so on. And you will be just amazed. So, Mr. Skye Logan, our CEO for PhilanthroInvestors.
Thank you very much, Ivan. So yeah, on the housing philanthro-investing side, Equity and Help is, as Ivan mentioned, a 3-year Inc. 500 company. Our clients, the investors themselves, are just going crazy over it because, again, it's that philanthropy side of it, along with just the housing, providing housing to individuals that, as Ivan mentioned earlier, just consistent tenants. They're just rent, and they're never able to get on their feet, save enough. They're never able to save up 5%, much less 10% to get financed, even if their credit score was sufficient.
Right.
So Equity and Help provides that housing for them and gives them that equity in the property. They immediately go into it, owning the property. Some people will call it, some similar like a rent-to-own thing or different stuff and these other things. But our model is, Equity and Help's model is a little different and tends to, I've got plenty of clients and investors that have done a lot of other type of investments in this area, but are transitioning everything over to Equity and Help, just the way, the solid return they're getting year after year, and just the way that it's done. They actually have a say in which houses are bought. They have a say in, and what to be done. Some of the families would, hey, my wife just got put in the hospital. She's unfortunately, contracted with cancer. I am working. I'm out of a job now, this and that. And this request, this actually goes to some of our investors would love to get these things and say, hey, I'm going to give you X amount of time, just care for your wife, care for your family, don't worry about it, kind of thing, right? And they love that because it's giving back to the family, and the family get caught back up and all that. So it's a win-win-win all around.
Absolutely. I love that. And that's one of the things that I had somebody else on the show here this morning, and they were talking about a $10 million deal where they said, look, if all we had was 6 more months to figure this out, we would have had a $10 million return. Instead, we had to go into bankruptcy just because of the stringent requirements in their loan terms. And it was like how nauseating is that?
Right.
All you needed was 180 days and you couldn't get it. And the bank just said, see ya. You're done. And so what a cool way to give back. But I also think it's cool, again, where the investor gets rewarded for providing a much needed service to the end user. I mean, it's a true win-win in that capacity. So Equity and Help is one of the firms that you guys are big investors in. Is that, am I hearing that correctly?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay,
of course,
cool.
Of course, investors going to get back. Yeah, we're not talking about charity here.
Sure.
It's philanthropy. So that's definitely something we have to clear up with our investors as they transition over to, utilizing your money to help drive the planet forward and change the world in a positive direction while you make better returns than what you're doing on your other investments.
Absolutely. Can you define the difference there for me? Because I'm not sure I understand the difference between philanthropy and charity.
Absolutely. Yes. Go ahead, Ivan.
So basically, Sam, when you do charity, you are making donation to an organization that basically it has a cause, it has a mission, right? And it's a charity organization that then will give that money away for different causes, right? And that cause will be improved. So that's charity. Now, and this is the difference. Charity involves only money and involves resources that are related to money, like giving food to an organization, right? But you need money to buy that food or things like that. Now, philanthropy, it opens one of the most valuable assets we have, which is time. You can do philanthropy with your time. And that's helping the world shift into a more positive direction, but without expecting any financial return. Now, if you become an investor, you are just giving money away for a financial return. What happens when you combine both of the best worlds? You have a philanthroinvestor. You have someone who is giving their money or time, investing their money or time, and this is the most important part, engaging emotionally to promote human welfare while getting a financial return. And the key part here is engaging emotionally, Sam, because we have been sold passive income equals financial freedom. And I was looking for this definition of freedom, financial freedom equals passive income. And I went and I started researching the definition of freedom. And the only thing I didn't find there was laying out in the beach doing nothing and receiving a check in your pocket. I didn't find it in the definition of the word freedom at all. The things that I found were engagement, involvement, knowledge, control, fulfillment, being alert with your environment. That's what I found when I looked for the definition of the word freedom. So I created a definition that is one of the chapters in my book, Housing PhilanthroInvesting, that actually is a Amazon #1 bestseller in 3 categories. You can find it all over the internet. But in that book, in one of the chapters, I talk about true financial freedom, which includes capital growth, positive cash flow, knowledge, being knowledgeable about your investment, having control, making decisions, being engaged, and that's having control and being engaged, and having fulfillment for the help that your money is providing. So it's totally, completely far away of laying out in the beach and receiving a check every month. So that's true financial freedom. Because otherwise, what happens, Sam, is, oh, here is my money, Sam, just do whatever you want. I don't want to know everything. I trust you that you will do everything as you say. And then Sam comes and Sam loses the money. And then I start blaming Sam.
Yep.
And so when I blame someone else, that means low level of happiness because low level of responsibility. When I have high level of knowledge and high level of engagement, and I make decisions, I am engaged in the process, I can have high level of happiness because I have high level of responsibility. So that's the foundation behind the Philanthroinvestors and how they think and operate.
I think that's really great. I love that. Tell me this. Let's talk about, and I'm sure that equity and help is one of the, I'm going to call it projects. It's probably the wrong word, but I'm just going to use that term that you guys are really proud of. Is there anything else that comes to mind at the top of your head that you said, I just love a more, not more, but another concrete example. You said, hey, this is something we did with PhilanthroInvestor, and this is probably, maybe we'll call it your crowning achievement thus far. What comes to mind?
Okay, the next thing that comes to mind is our water philanthroinvesting organization, Origin Clear. And as the name says, Origin Clear, it's very clear, the name. It has the mission to bring the water state of the planet back to its origin, exactly as it was before planet Earth, before we came to planet Earth as humans, like pure water for all. Because right now, 6,000 kids die from water-related diseases every single day. And 80% of the water is released untreated in the planet. And the US only recycles 1% of the water. And the infrastructure, let me give you some data, Sam. The infrastructure that is needed to hold the water quality for the entire US, and let's not talk in other parts of the world, which is worse. Let's talk about the US. We need 3 million jobs in the next 10 years in the water industry to be able to hold the water quality for the US. And let me give you another data. The US budget from the government for water in order to keep the infrastructure with high quality, it needs to be 200 billion in the next decade, is only 30 billion. So there is a space of 170 billion for the private entrepreneurs to become something that we trademarked and we call the waterpreneur, that we have an international trademark that allows waterpreneurs to involve in the water industry and help us solve the water issues in the planet using Origin Clear technology, patent technology, very unique, that can convert black, dirty water into an FDA-approved quality of water and save tons of liters of water daily as we are doing right now. And we are attacking this through the working industry, not through the residential right now, through the working industry. Because in average, a human consumes 51 liters a day of water for everything that he needs in relation to water. And the majority of it happens at work, not at home. So that's because all the humans being in a building or being all the employers in manufacturing or all the employees in a mall or all the employees in a car dealership or all the employees in a farming industry, all of them, all the needs that produce, it's the water. So now imagine if you as a human being say, oh my gosh, I am taking 51 liters a day of water for me every single day. But wait a minute, when I go to the bathroom, I trash paper into the toilet. So I am not helping here. I am just taking and I am just damaging the water. So what about if I have the opportunity to connect back the money which I earn because of the 51 liters of water that keeps me alive, and give it back to the water, and I can produce 52 liters of clean water a day for the planet. So that's the platform for water philanthroinvesting is you can be connected back with the essence of water and helping water be in a better state of life.
I think that's fantastic. I've got one last question for you as the founder of this, and maybe if you can, couple 2-3 minutes here, tell us how you birthed all your various companies. Like what was the moment when you said, hey, I'm on to something, and then figured out how to run with it?
Well, I think it was a connection with God. I was one day in 2009 taking a shower in July 2009. And, sometimes I like to take 2 showers because realizations come together. Because I really feel that water coming in abundance to us, it has something to do with the realizations that we have while we are taking a shower. But anyhow, so I was taking the shower and the word Philanthroinvestor comes. And I was in Argentina. Now I live in the US. All my companies are in the US. Today, Argentina is playing the World Cup. That's why I'm wearing this jersey. But the main thing is that I was there and this word Philanthroinvestor comes. And he showed me the whole vision of 20, 30 years from now. And how the people in 20, 30 years will not be playing with their money as if it was just paper, and will have more conscious level of the effect that it's making in the society. And so I started with housing philanthroinvesting in 2009. I exported the model in 2012 to the US, and that's equity and health. And then in 2019, I was in another shower, and he knocks me in my head. He knocks my head and say, hey, Ivan, I didn't give you the PhilanthroInvestor brand just to help families live in their own homes. There is a whole lot of other problems in the planet. And I go and I start researching, and I found and discovered these life essentials. And that expanded PhilanthroInvestors and so on. And because, arriving to a new country in 2012 and so on, my key strategy was hire great people, CEOs, and surround myself with great talent as a Skye to make this impersonal dream of mine, which is a dream for the world, a reality for everybody, to live in a better planet. Because the planet is a combination of life essentials. So if every life essential is doing better, the whole planet will be in a better condition. It's very simple.
I love it. I love it. Gentlemen, thank you for taking the time to come on the show today and share with us. I certainly appreciate it. If they want to learn more about, if our listeners want to learn more about PhilanthroInvestor, what is the best way to do that?
Well, you go to philanthroinvestors.com. There is a short link that takes you there, which is a pi.today. It's a short link that directs you to philanthroinvestors.com. And you can go to our YouTube channel with PhilanthroInvestors and watch all the videos and so on. And in Amazon, you can get the PhilanthroInvesting book. Also, if you want to learn more deep and so on, which I really recommend. And that's basically the way.
Fantastic. We'll make sure we include all of that there in the show notes. Skye and Ivan, thank you for coming on today. It was certainly a pleasure.
Welcome to the How to Scale Commercial Real Estate Show. Whether you are an active or passive investor, we'll teach you how to scale your real estate investing business into something big.